What's up, everybody? It's Steph the Pharaoh, coming back with another episode of the Luxic Vue Podcast. Today, I have Ashlei Esparza out of Porterville, California. We're here in Optimal Fitness, and it's quite the facility. Today's actually Veterans Day. We're at the tail end. The parade just finished. By the time you guys are watching this, you're about to kind of be filled in on just everything that transpired today. Ashlei had quite the pop-up. We had local businesses from Keto Fit to Nitro Bike to a lot of other little organizations getting their start. And I really like, from what I experienced today, the camaraderie and the unity that Ashlei's building within the community. Because I think oftentimes you don't really get too many small businesses collaborating, right?
Right. We don't. And that was kind of the whole point of the pop-up. Again, because a lot of my friends are in small businesses. And I've noticed because a lot of smaller businesses who don't have locations are getting together, but the businesses aren't getting those businesses in getting them together. So that was kind of the whole point, is just those who don't have a location come in and join us. The event itself, the 5K, is already there. The parade is already here. So it was a great way to take advantage of the community and get them involved as well with us and everyone else that was involved at the pop-up event.
Yeah, it was quite a turnout. I mean, this is the second year, or I know you've done this in the past as well, right?
Yes. Technically our third year, but with 2020 kind of taking advantage of, with COVID and everything, so it swiped us out of the way, but we still had an event. We still did what we could, and we made the best out of it with 2020.
So today, I mean, it was quite the event. I came at a pretty good time. The parade was pretty big. Everything looked great. And what I liked about, I think, overall this whole event is just the culture that you kind of established. I mean, everybody that was invited, they were very easygoing. I loved everybody's energy. I met quite the array of business owners.
Yes.
Just starting, people that have done it for a while. So I like that in the community. And I haven't actually been in Porterville to kind of witness anything. So it's kind of see you holding it down.
Yeah, that's funny.
Creating this environment for people. Because you're really being like a pillar for a lot of people, believe it or not. I mean, you got the location, like you said, just to inspire and give people an opportunity and belief in themselves, I think, is key. Right. So I wanted to bring you on the podcast because I have been following you for quite some time. I've known you. I mean, we go back to high school.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember middle school, but we went to the same middle school.
Yeah, I totally remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to bring you on, just like I said, because I've been following your journey and I've seen everything that you're doing, and I'm inspired just by you and your consistency with your goal and your vision, and seeing it transpire from nothing to where we are today.
Seriously.
6 years, right?
Yeah, 6 years.
6 years. And as of 2020 and 2021, she was voted, Optimal Fitness, was voted the best fitness facility in Porterville, California.
Yes.
And I'll give you a round.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah.
You deserve it.
When I first opened it, this was quite a few years ago already, 6 years. That's a long time. And I hate to say this, but in comparison, some people can't even just finish 4 years of high school or college or whatever, and then to commit to a business and you're in the real world, it's a totally different spectrum. And the reason why I relate it to high school or college is because, finishing high school was only difficult due to my obstacles at home. And then, entering the real world, it's like, okay, what's next? And then entering college, what's next? And then, when I finally said, okay, I'm going to commit to this business, like I need to finish and I need to go strong and I need to go hard. And that's kind of what the whole point was, is putting myself in a position where I was going to be in my realm, be ready to take care of when what my vision was. And at the end of the day, it was, okay, what do I like to do? What do I love to do? What do I like to do in the realm of health and fitness? And I happen to be really good at it, right? Because, to go back to high school, I was in sports. Go back to middle school, I was in sports. I grew up in sports. Like, it was just always been my realm, and I've always been the cheerleader. I've always been the MVP. So it's always been nice. And then finally, just moving that over into the gym, it's been bigger than I thought, and it moved much faster than I thought.
Wow. I mean, it has moved very fast, I think. And we were talking the other day, just you were like, I wanted to start and I wanted to be word of mouth. And that was very powerful because word of mouth is everything when you build relationships.
Right.
That tells me from your perspective that you're into building relationships and
Right.
not just treating people as transactional, like
Right.
most gyms do. You seem very hands-on just by the conversations I overheard as I was in your building and at your event. You're very inspiring to other people.
I appreciate it.
Encourage people. I feel like you nudge them
Yes.
into the right direction, right?
Yes, I definitely do. That was, I think, I feel like sometimes you have that already in you, to build the relationship. And then it's in the matter of how are you going to use your personality? How are you going to use the traits that you have or whatever it is that you feel is going to be your career? How are you going to be the best at what you do? And for some, they go into the business and it's just like they find out, no, that's not me. No, that's not me. Like, I can't do it. Or not that they can't do it, but it's just a different perspective. Like, you see these people who are doing entrepreneurship and they have their small businesses, like, oh, I want to be just like that. And they do it and they step into it and they find out, okay, no, that's really not for me. And I stepped into it knowing, no, that's for me. Like, that's me. And we go back, like you said, even to high school or after high school when we were reaching out, we were doing these like random things.
Yeah. Network marketing.
Right, like network marketing, like what was that at the time? And you were just talking about it, like, it's going to be the next big thing. And I'm like, Stefan, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't know about this, like, I don't even know how to use a computer. And I'm exaggerating, but it was like little things like that. I'm like, okay, this guy he has something and I like it and I like the business realm. And I went straight into it. And then I just put the two and two together, health and fitness and then the business. And my personality happens to just be reachable, attainable. People want it. People like the personality that I have, and I don't mean it in a cocky way. It has everything to do with
confidence. I think.
Confidence. Yeah, it's just confidence, and I'm able to connect with the people because it really is about connection with your clients. And when you don't have the connection, you lose them. You kind of are fishing for them at that point, and you don't want that. You want them to be there because they want to be there, and they need more than just themselves. A lot of times they need that coach who's going to be on their side. So
now, one thing I wanted to ask you, you're very confident, driven woman.
Thank you.
And like I said, to be able to put everything that you have going on and to put it together and to be able to be consistent with it, I think it takes a lot of not only knowledge, but skill and just drive. And
right.
So like you wake up every day and you're after it. I see your posts.
Right.
Being in the gym, like you're still here training by yourself. Yeah. You're still putting in the time.
Yes.
And, just in conversation and passing with your mom saying that you always knew you were going to be a trainer. I kind of wanted to unpack that a little bit.
Okay.
Because a lot of people, I'm sure they know you as Coach Ashlei or,
yeah.
And I don't know if they all know like how you got your start and your mindset before, but take us back a little bit.
Right. Okay. So, Dad, that goes way back. Like, I want to say as soon as the moment I was out of the womb, my mom was like, here's a basketball and here's a set of pom-poms, choose which one you're going to do because you're going to do something. And my mom was always very driven. My parents were very driven my dad's just naturally athletic and my mom loved athletics and she was athletic in high school and much younger. So because they've had the love for it, I was able to get the love for it. And then just my competitive drive and then my drive to want to be better at things, my drive to and I loved it. And I loved to exercise. I've always been into it since I was a kid. Like I said, they introduced me. My mom would be doing Taibo. I'm like, Mom, I'm going to join you. And I start kicking things, or not things, but in the air. But like she said, like I was doing burpees. I was doing push-ups. I was doing pull-ups or whatever my dad would teach me. Okay. And so it's funny because he had this pull-up bar in the garage. He said, every time you step into the garage, you need to do a pull-up. So if I stepped into the garage and our refrigerator was in there, like we had two refrigerators, so it was one here and one there. And so I would step in, I'd get the milk, like, I forgot the cereal. So I'd have to step in, do another pull-up. And after that, I just wanted to do it. And I liked that feeling. He taught me how to do a lot of things. And I would put programs together for my cousins and I and my sister. I'm like, okay, guys, this is what we're going to do. It's 7:00 in the morning. We're already here because we would get dropped off for, during the summer. We'd be at my grandma's house. I'd put these programs together. It's like, okay, we're doing 20 jumping jacks. We're going to run down the street and back. We're doing 10 burpees. And then we're going to repeat it 5 times. And they would just be like, after the first round, I'm done. They'd go inside. I'd finish. I would do it by myself. And I don't know. I've always loved it. And then it carried on into NJB. Then I played travel ball. I did cross country in middle school, which I was getting first place. And then I fell in love with cross country because it came so easy to me. Then went into high school, MVP a couple years in a row. Captain, I'd played basketball, track. And then,
You did it all.
yeah, I did everything I could. My home life at the time wasn't the best. So I needed an outlet.
Like it kept you busy.
It kept me busy. You know, I was in PAB, I was in another academy. I would just do everything I could to stay busy. I didn't have the best home life. And so because of that, it was my realm to be myself. Like I could go to school and be myself. I could, run at practice, run before practice. It was about being the best because I wasn't in the best position at the time.
That makes sense.
So after that, I went into college. I had worked for a local gym in town. I did that for a few years, and he ended up closing his gym down. I was moving to Bakersfield. I'm like, this is where I'm going. Like, I'm moving to Bakersfield. I'm going to get my degree in kinesiology. I'm going to become a physical therapist. And then as I'm leaving, like with my bags in my hands, I have a couple clients who are like, you're not going anywhere. You're going to train me. Like, stay here for the summer, train me, and you can move. And I was like, okay. So then I started training these girls just off to the side and then just focusing on trying to get out of Porterville and move to Bakersfield.
Were you going to school?
Yeah, I was going to Bakersfield, yeah. And I just wanted to just leave. And it had a lot to do with just because of the home life I had here at the time. I was like, I don't want any part of that. Like, I don't want to be in Porterville. And I think a lot of 18, 19, 20-year-olds are feeling that. They're like, I don't like mom and dad. I want to leave, And so that was kind of my mindset at the time. But my clients, I had 2 girls who did not want me to leave, who did not want me to go anywhere. And I started training them. And then I just slowly gained more clientele. And just word of mouth. Like, people were finding out that I was doing it off to the side. And those were not my intentions. Like, it's not like I was promoting myself and telling everybody, hey, come and train with me, because that's not my MO. Like, that's not the kind of girl I am.
Didn't feel a need to
I didn't
convince anybody.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm not going to convince anyone to train with me. If they like me already, they'll train with me. If they hear about me and they like the idea, then they'll train with me. I've never thought about chasing anyone. I've never thought about throwing out advertisements, marketing, or anything like that. It was just all about how good can I be without all of the extra stuff. And not only that, it was free. Especially when you're a small business owner, you're just starting off, you have no money. Like, especially at 18, 19, 20, like, what money do you have? Especially when you come from a family where we had nothing. Like, we grew up just kind of paycheck to paycheck. And
you feel like that motivated you?
Oh, 100%. 100%. And maybe we didn't. Maybe my parents were just like frugal about things and just like, you're going to figure it out, because they did, and my dad's in a great position as he's in now. And my mom's in a great position. So they worked hard for it, and they never told us, like, they never felt bad for us. Like, no, you're going to work for it, because you're going to be those people and you're going to continue to be those people. And because of that, even though we went through things, it was like, thank you. My grandma too. She's always been my number one supporter, like 100%. So it started super small, and then the clients just grew. Like, dude, seriously, when I was like, okay, I'm gonna open up a spot. I got so scared. I remember crying, like just bawling my eyes out. I'm like, I'm nervous because I'm gonna sign it and no one's here with me.
Release?
Yeah, like no one's here to hold my hand. I wasn't talking to my dad. I wasn't talking to my mom at the time. Yeah, dude. Like, my sister.
Was that 18 or 19?
This was 21.
Okay.
I was 21, and I was like, I'm scared. Like, what am I doing? Like, I can't do this. Like, why? What am I doing here? And then I started thinking, well, how good do you think you are? Like, I don't know how good I am until I actually put myself out there.
That's powerful right there. That scares me.
Yeah, I'm like, how good am I? I don't know. Well, let's find out. Hand me the keys. Okay, great. And then I get on the phone with one of my friends who owns a photo booth. He owns a photo booth business, You and Me Photo Booth. Great guy, great friend, love him to death. Awesome guy, William Gonzalez. I mean, shout out to him, honestly, because He's just been so like, just do it. Like, you're not going to know. And as soon as I got the keys, I called him like, hey, dude, I did something. He's like, you got the place? And so I told him to come down and drive down there. And he did, him and his girlfriend. And they came down and he's like, are you ready to open it? And I got it on recording and it was cool. It was cool. And then just filling up the gym emptied my bank account. I mean, let's just put it out there, because small business owners, you do what you can with what you have.
Pouring into your business.
Exactly. Exactly. And I just did it little by little. 2 years later, we grew out of that business, of that location.
Where was your first location at?
On Prospect. Gosh, I can't even remember the numbers. And it's funny because like when I switched over, I was writing down my address from the old location instead of this one. It was just a mess for a little while, but it took 6 months. I just went hard. I mean, working from 5 a.m., going to school and traveling to Bakersfield in the middle of the day and then driving back wouldn't be done till like 9 o'clock. That's not on top of the cleaning. So I'd be there till 10:30 cleaning my gym. And I did that every day. I still do it. You know, I do it humbly because it humbles me. I like it. I like that.
Well, I seen you have a 5 class, so I'm sure you're the first one in, last one out, right?
Right. 5 a.m. and I'm done here at 8 o'clock still, because I still have my personal training clients and my boot camp. So I still run those classes. But 6 months in, and it just went out of my hands. Like, I got to quit. Not quit school, but I have to put school on pause. I'm still going to finish school. Like, I'm not done with that. And so I put that on pause, and then a year later, boom, we had to move out. I was like, we're done.
Because of all the clients.
Just because of the clientele, yeah. Dude, I had to use the space that I had. I'm like, okay, you're in that corner, you're in that corner, you're in that corner. You guys are here. They're going to go outside. Let's go. Game time, baby. You guys all have a minute. Ready? And in 3, 2, 1, go. And then that's how we did it. You know, it was just, that's what I had to do to get to where they wanted to be. Because even though it was difficult for me to start where I was, at the end of the day, it was like, what do you need from me to get to where you want to be? Because I'm only here because you're here. Otherwise, I don't have a business, but you also have goals, and otherwise you're not going to get to them. So like, let's put the 2 and 2 together. I have a business, I have a plan, you have an idea, boom. You know, we became business partners. I became business partners with my clients, basically, you know, and we grew from there. We've been here a little over 3 years now, and I look forward to expanding as well. And they deserve it. At the end of the day, it's not for me, it's for them. What do my clients need? That's how I keep looking at it. What do my clients need? Okay, they need this, they need that. We need to move.
With your discipline and your mindset, I think you encourage a lot of people, like I was mentioning. And as much as, I mean, we had a conversation the other day, you know, I feel like you're a people person. I feel like you truly care about your clients. And also I feel like the reason you may not put yourself out there that much is because you're looking for a specific type of person that wants to work with you, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, yes. And sorry, I couldn't hear. Oh, excuse me. It's not that I am looking for the type. I'm like, oh, okay, you and I are gonna mix well. You can come into my gym. Not necessarily that, but the type would be just feeling ready. You know, the majority of women that do, or people, I should say, that do come in here, the moms, they have 1 child, 2 child, you know, 2 kids, 3 kids, and it's like, whoa, okay. You've mentioned all like your children, but let's talk about you, because that's why we're here, you know, that's why you're here. So let's get started with that.
Making men feel important.
Exactly. And it's, I guess, those types of people who feel like they need to put others first rather than themselves. And I'm like, no, it's time for you. Like, this is your you time. This is my me time. You have 1 hour out of the day. Let's take advantage of that. Let's take everything else out of the picture, because you're here right now. Focus on what you need to do. You don't want me to talk to you? You don't want to be a part of the session? That's totally fine. Go to the corner, do the workout, and you're good to go. And sometimes that's what they need, you know, and that's the connection I need with my clients. What are we feeling today? Okay, great. Get started. You know, and I have a client who's a single mom. Man, her story like messes me up sometimes. And she's a single mom. She's a teacher. She works hard. She puts in the work, you know, and she gets those days, which is like everyone else. She gets a day. She's like, I'm not in the mood. Like, I just want to run. And if I'm ready, can I work out? Get started. Like, don't even ask. Like, just do it. At this point, go. Like, you got this. You know, put your head in the game, whatever you got to do, and you do it. And that's with everyone. 50 plus clients, and I'm doing it with each person individually. Like, how can I know them as an individual and make the group happen together? How can I get them to vibe together? Because even when you're in a group and you want to train by yourself, but in a group, you still feel the vibes. You still feel the energy. And that's what it's all about. So
Would you say that you always tried to get people to work together? Like commingle or...
Yes.
That's like a skill. That's not something that everybody wants to do.
Right, I know. No, yeah, I totally agree.
People feel awkward to get people like that and try to make them feel included.
Yes. I just point out, hey, you guys are all here for the same reason. You want to feel better. You want to look better. You want to be healthier. You want to be more fit. Whatever the goal is, you guys are all here for the same reason. And if you want to compete. Find someone in here you want to compete with, and make sure that the feeling is mutual. So that way it's game on, baby. And that's what I tell them, and they think it's hilarious. But definitely, building relationships in here with each other has made them more of a family, more of a community within each other. They're comfortable. They're able to work out how they want together and they're able to work out and have a conversation. And I'm at this point, at first it would drive me nuts, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's their me time. And I didn't understand it before. And I didn't understand that before. And I had to take not that I was ever in the military, but I had to take my military mindset out of it. And I'm like, this is their me time, you know? And I have a lot of me time, you know? And so I didn't understand it until, you know, and one day a client told me, and, you know, she told me straight out, like, this is my me time too. So, yeah. And that's what I want. Because even if they are upset with what I've said or how I've announced something, tell me, because I can't get you to continue to be healthy and exercise if I don't know what you're feeling. I feel like I can do much better, and I'm not saying than anyone else, but I can relate to you. Help me relate to you. Help me build an empathetic relationship with you so we can get to where you want to be. At the end of the day, it's their goal. Like, that's the end goal, like, is to get to where they want to be. And that's all I want.
I like that you're open with them, because most people, I mean, they don't care what you have to say until they know that you care, and you at least put it out there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, very.
I don't feel like you're a trainer, and I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't seem like the trainer that's like, well, if you don't want to be here, like, okay.
Right. No, you know, I've had to, though. I hate it. You know, well, it's probably the younger generation, because it's happened a couple times with the younger generation. Like, and I'm speaking of anyone of the ages of like under 25. Mindsets are different. You know, it's in comparison from a 22-year-old to a 52-year-old, like different times in a life, you know? Right. You know, I try to get them to be their own person, and that's kind of the balance I've struggled. I feel like everyone struggles, and I want everyone to be a part of it. And that's probably my biggest downfall, is that I want every type of personality to understand, be yourself at the same time, but stay focused, like, be present. And that's one of the main things that I've been practicing for myself and for my clients. Like, I want them to understand. I've spoken on that topic, well, since 2020. You know, being present. A lot of people didn't handle that situation very well, and that's all I want for everyone. So,
I mean, you seem like a very grounded person, very grounded individual. I mean, like I said, I think it takes a lot to do what you've done, and to continue to have the passion to instill that in your clients, because, I mean, let's face it, I know it's not easy on your part. Like, I'm sure you care so much. Has there come a point where you had to maybe step away emotionally, to the point like where you cared too much for a client to get specific results? Like, has that ever happened to you before?
Yeah, actually, they're their own person. So my job is to just get them here. And so just putting my all into them, from like physical to, you know, working out with them, emotionally, like, okay, let's talk about it. Spiritually, okay, let's do meditation together, which we've done. Anything, you know, and incentives, like, we're going to have a 6-week challenge, 12-week challenge. Like, join in. Like, this is what I want for you. Whether I'm your instructor or your coach, whatever you want, I'm always going to be here for you. Like, if you want to train elsewhere, doesn't bother me. Like, I've had people leave and tell me, you know what, this isn't my kind of gym. And I'm, okay, that sounds good. You know, they go and train at InShape instead, or they go and do something with Planet Fitness or whatever it may be. And I'm totally 100% okay with it, because as long as you continue the relationship of exercising and staying healthy, that's all that matters. Because like, health and fitness is my thing. So, oh, you're not going to train with me, don't ever do health and fitness ever again in your life. Like, no, like, keep doing it. Like, that's the point. Get out there, hike, join a yoga class, go do Zumba, get a new instructor, whatever it is, don't stop. It's just all about reading people, talking to them, communicating. You know, communication is totally, totally key with my clients, and they have their own lives. They're all going through something, even though they all enjoy working out together. Sometimes they just want to be around people, but don't want to talk. So it's just reading them, to be honest.
It's like their safe place, though, when they can come.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like a lot more than fitness goes on here. I mean, I get the vibe that it's more like transformational, like mind, body, spirit.
Yes.
You at least care to have them walk out with confidence. I think it goes a long way, and I mean, it kind of says it in your name, the optimal, like you want people to be the best version of themselves.
Yes.
And I was actually having conversations with some of your vendors here today where they were saying, you know, it's great to come out and meet people. You know, Ashlei inspired us to come out, and they were just kind of breaking down their story. And I'm like, wow, like everybody goes through something very similar, but we all handle it in a different way. It's about where we place ourselves in the environment that will allow us to step into that power.
Definitely.
And this seems, like I said, like the environment that allows somebody to blossom into what they are.
Right. No, exactly. And that's kind of the whole thing. Like, that's the thing with the younger generation. That's what I was referring to. Like, my previous client, you know, she was younger. And like you said, we want to optimally train in every aspect, physical, spiritual, emotionally, mentally. And a lot of the younger generation, they're not ready for that.
Oh, yeah. It goes deep.
Yeah, like, they're not ready for that, you know? They're just like, I'm not there in my life yet. And I'm like, okay, then let's just train. And it's like, well, I'm not there in my life yet. And I'm like, dude, okay, so what's going on here? Like, are you, you know, and that's totally fine. But 100%, when I created my name, it was with a buddy of mine, actually. And he used to train with me a long time ago. He's really young. And I met him because I used to train his mom, and I would take him everywhere with me. I'm like, hey, like, let's go train at the gym. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. And he was someone who was in high school, and he didn't want to go to college. And so I took him under my wing, and I said, no, you're going to go to college. Like, you're going to do something. Like, you need a certificate in something at least, right? I took him to my family party. It was just so much fun. He got to go to UCLA, and so there was a bit of background on that. And we're still friends, and we've just always kept in touch. And he's like one of the greatest guys I can ever talk to, because it's funny because I was coaching him at one time, and like once he like entered the real world, he started coaching me, and I'm like, this isn't how it's supposed to work. But he helped me build a name. I was like, dude, I need something that's gonna be,
it's gonna pop, right?
Yeah, like, make sense to everyone, and everyone's going to understand it. And any type of person is going to be able to say, like, I want to go to that. Okay. And I wanted it to be open. So I had come up with the name Optimal Fitness came out, and then Optimal Training came out, and then Optimum Fitness came out, and then Optimum Training came out. And he said, Optimum Training is the best one. And I said, something about optimal training sounds 10 times better. Sounds 10 times better. You were saying Optimal Fitness, and I don't want to interrupt you, but it's Optimal Training. And so I just said, dude, Optimal Training sounds 10 times better. I was like, I'm going to sit on it for the next 48 hours because I have to come up with a name, because if I don't sign that business that lease without a name, like, it's going to be a problem. Like, I need a name. And so then I just fell through with it. I'm like, okay, no, this speaks it. Like, this speaks, like you said, volume, like in every direction, mental, you know, physical, spiritual, emotionally. And that's what I wanted. Like, I want everyone to feel optimally healthy in every aspect. And if you're not, that's okay. That's why you're here. We're going to figure that out together. You know, my mom does the meditation yoga. She's going to help you out. And it was just like these little things, like people want to give up. Don't give up. Sometimes I want to give up. Do you see me? No, let's do this. Oh, well, you're different and you have this life. And no.
They don't see that it came from almost the same place, right?
Right. Yeah, and that's the root. And I don't like talking about my past. I really hate it, to be honest. Like I said, we grew up with nothing. Nothing. And then people, even at school, like in high school, like, oh, you're rich, huh? You're rich. Like, you have all this money, huh? Because you're always so happy. Your parents let you do whatever. I'm like, no. My parents don't know how I am at school because I'm like this quiet person at home. But when I come to school, I'm alive, you know, and I wasn't okay being at home. And I did not like it. And so I use that as fuel and I just move forward with it. And that's how I want people to move forward with their lives. Like, even though you're home, there's more life to just being at home. And that's just, I've taken my clients on hikes. Yosemite,
Yeah.
Yosemite is like a few hours away. More than half of the people that went with me had never been.
At all?
At all. And I took them on like a 13-mile hike the first time. Dude, they were just like, I'm never doing that again. And I had the same people plus more join me. And again, like more than half of them had never been. And then we went and we had gone like every couple months. We haven't been able to just because of the regulations and, you know, they were actually closed for a little while. But I took them out of the realm. You know, we've gone to a hike past Springville. We've gone to the Sequoias. I've taken them to Avila Ridge. Like, hey, we're taking the day off today. We're all going to go hike Avila Ridge in Avila. Like, let's go.
Which these people have to live.
Yeah.
Like, all this stuff is in our backyard.
Yes.
It's funny because when I moved away, I also didn't travel to Yosemite. I mean, I maybe went once, but as I moved back, I'm like, stuff is in my backyard, and I was just like ignorant to the fact that it even existed. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we live in a small town. You know, like, oh, what's Porterville? You know, and there's so much. And there's so many good people here. And I just want every single one of them to experience the holistic side of things.
Absolutely.
You know, unplug the social media, unplug the texting and the calling and the phone, leave it in your cars, you know, and it's hard because they want to take pictures and stuff too, right? And we actually do get service in Yosemite. I'm like, dang it. But you know what? It opens them up and they see different things and they see new things. And a lot of them still hike and a lot of them do it on their own.
That's
even
awesome.
Without me. And it makes me so happy. Like to the point, sometimes they're like, oh, look what we did. And I'm like, what? Where's the invite? And I start crying and I'm teasing them and stuff. But yeah, that's kind of the whole point. That's what I want. I want them to branch out and enjoy more than just what's inside the gym, because the gym there's a lot of stigma. Totally. Like, that's what we got to deal with. And I'm like, dude, it's not that kind of gym. Like, just do it. I can help you out.
Break down some of those stigmas for just like the audience in general. Like, what would you say?
You have to be fit. I need to start working out first before I can go to your gym. And I'm like, no.
That's how I used to think when I was younger, for sure.
Like, no, you don't need it. You don't need any experience. You don't have to jump. I will break it down for you, like physical therapy style. You know what I mean? Like, let's do this. And I've educated myself from like old books to new books to the new education to certifications, like in every aspect that I can think of, just so I can get everyone to be comfortable, so I can get every type of person in here, because it's not what they think what it is, you know? I'm like, I have to be fit, or there's a lot of fit people in there. And it's funny because my 5 a.m. is they can be intense. They can be. I'm not going to lie. They can be super intense. So if you were to enter my 5 a.m., everyone's already like, burpee, push up. And then you go to my 4:30, it's like, hey, what'd you do this afternoon? What'd you do this weekend? Hey, what'd you eat for lunch? Yeah. Did you eat that new meal from McDonald's? It's really good, huh? You know, it's just like totally two different, you know, sessions. And so when my 4:30, when I talk about my 5 a.m., like, hey, my 5 a.m., I thought it would be a good idea if we did this. They're like, well, your 5 a.m. are Olympians compared to us. And so it's just funny. Like, it's just crazy how we've all just kind of gotten along and made it happen for optimal training, honestly.
I kind of want to go back a little bit. And
Okay.
You made a good point. You brought up some failures in your own life, but you didn't really elaborate on that. And I kind of wanted to go back, like, not failures, but maybe shortcomings or your mindset in the very beginning, like 18, 19, 20, 21, you were training people, right? What was the catalyst for you to go on and sign that lease? Like, And what did you go through mentally for like the people that don't know that are looking to maybe branch out in their own endeavor?
So when I started, like I said, I've always been into exercising, and I had bumped into a teacher from Porterville, and she said, "Hey, I know someone who's looking for someone to help him train." And I was all for it. Interviewed me, did a great job. And this is no backlash or any harm to him or to anyone, to be completely honest with you. I did an amazing job. Like, when I worked at the gym, I did an amazing job. I was top notch, you know. I took the blame for things that weren't my fault. I got to the point where I was tired of it. And I said, you know what, I do too well to get blamed for things that I shouldn't be getting blamed for. You know, I'm answering the phone calls and the text messages to hurry up and get to work last minute, and then the blame is put on me because I'm there last minute, you know. And I finally said, that's not me. I'm on time. I like to be there. I like my clients are going to know I'm there. And so that was my biggest problem. Like, it wasn't necessarily a failure or downfall or anything like that, because I don't want to say that it was all this person's fault. Maybe just our personalities weren't getting along anymore, or what exactly. But after that, I mean, like I said, like, I'm all about growth. Like, let's grow together. Like, why aren't we growing together as a team? Like, I'm here for you and the people. Like, you need to be on the same page as me. Like, you also need to be there for me. Like, you know, you're the leader, so let's lead, you know, or you lead. Or you're not leading now? Then I'll lead. And that person was getting frustrated because I started leading. I'm like, no, dude, like, let's do this. And when there's no leadership, when there's no good intention to lead and move forward, why be there? Why be there? I tell people that. I'm like, I'm not going to sob. I can't sob. I'm not going to complain why I'm right here. No. So I wanted better. I wanted more. I'm like, let's do this. Like, I'm moving to Bakersfield, and I'm going to go to school, and I'm going to finish my degree. Oh, wait, Ashley. No, train me. And that's how it started, you know. And the lease thing and all of that had everything to do with, is it going to look like I'm taking? Is it going to look like I'm stabbing someone in the back? Because no one knew the story. You know, no one knew anything. And I'm putting it out there now, but it's, you know, and it's been years, but no one knew anything. You know, it just looked, whatever it looked like, that's what they thought it was. And that's what it looked like. I can't deny it. That's exactly what it looked like. And I'm like, that's not it. I'm not that person, you know. And I've never been anyone who's like, I'm going to take from a friend, or I'm going to take from someone I know because I know I can. Like, even if I know I can, I still won't do it. Like, that's not my business. I've never been that kind of person. I can't take from people. I know what it's like to have nothing. Why take? So when there's no leadership and there's no moving forward, then I can't move forward. And if I can't move forward, then I'm stepping back or I'm staying still. And I'm not someone who's been able to stay still. I've been first place. I've been MVP. I've been in the newspaper. I've done things. I've made things happen. I've gotten straight A's. You know what I mean? Like, I've met people on my own. I've made relationships. I can communicate. I've made things happen. Like, I'm not going to stop right here. Don't stop me. And when I feel like someone's pulling, nah, you need to leave. Like, or I need to remove myself. And that's what I did. And that's what I tell my clients. Like, I explain that to them now. Like, you feel like you can't come to the gym? Why? Pull that away from you. This is the appointment that you don't want to miss. This is your dentist appointment. This is your hair appointment. This is your lash appointment, your nail appointment that you cannot miss. You know, like, I have to put in that perspective. And so
it just sounds like you hold a lot of people accountable in a good way, but you also hold yourself accountable.
Oh, yeah,
100%. About being on time. You're talking about taking the blame. That's integrity at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people these days don't really hold themselves to that standard. I mean, I run into the same thing as well, so I know exactly what you're talking about when you're like, I was taking the blame for things that weren't even my fault. But it says a lot about you and who you are as a person. Right. And I think that's why you attract so many clients. And that's why they like you, because they know you're on time. They know that when they show up, they're going to be able to have a good workout, right?
Yeah,
and it translates into anything, because how you do anything is how you do everything.
Exactly. And I just tell my clients, on myself. You know, like you said earlier at the beginning of the podcast, you know, I'm here at 5, here at 6. I do what I have to do at home. I go eat breakfast or whatever it is, and I'm already contacting my clients. I come back at 8:30. Then I'm doing whatever I need to do with the gym. I go home, read more articles, read more research, put it into play. And then I come and train in the afternoon. I'm like, it's game time. Like, you've already had your day's worth of whatever you needed. And now I'm working out in the afternoon because like everything that I'm going through in the morning, it's like stimulating me. It's whether it's like a good thing or a bad thing, and I get like this anxious energy, and I'm like, okay, let's make it anxious, positive energy. Like, use that anxious energy to like move you forward. Like, whether it's negative or positive, make it move you forward. And now I'm working out in the afternoon. We're usually it's in the morning, but I'm just going hard. Like, I have to. Like, that's just my mindset. Like, I have to. Like, these people are looking up to you. These people want you to train them, and that's kind of the stigma that I was also talking about. Well, how good does your trainer look? Like, what does your trainer look like? How much can your trainer lift? You know, and it's like, dang, dude, it's like not even the point. Like, you're missing the point. Like, you're missing the point of exercising. Like, just get in there.
They're looking for the physical representation.
Yes. And so that's what I've been working on. I've always been scrawny. I was 102 pounds in high school. And so like gaining 20 pounds plus was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't know if I want to lift. I don't know, because it was just nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
I said, forget it. I do want to be strong. I do want to look good. You know, like that. I've always tied in looking good and lifting heavy, but the looking good part was just because, you know, I like to feel good about myself. Like, who doesn't? When you feel good, you look good, and when you look good, you feel exactly. So I've always tied that in, and but with everything else, I've moved forward with everything, and I've moved on, and I want my clients to do the same thing.
Now, I want to give you an opportunity to open up and talk about, like, basically give you the platform, talk about anything specific to your business, any classes, you know, you want to offer. You have to come and check out the building. We're right across the street from Union Bank on Main Street. It's prime location, I think.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Right by, it's central to everything.
It is.
Family lives down the street, so I've been through here. I know where everything's at.
Yeah. And you know, and it's so nice because we have the restaurant right across the street. We have the barber shop next door, and the reason why I mentioned him is because like it's so nice to have someone who likes to talk to you and communicate and stay involved, and we stay involved with each other. We look out for each other. You know, I have the store next door to me, and she's amazing. She does a great job. So we've built this relationship, and it's really nice to be on Main Street, and they all want the same thing. They want us to be safe. You know, they want the Main Street to be packed. They have the same mindset as me, and which is nice. But yeah, so we're located on Main Street in Porterville, 236 North Main Street. And my classes start at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and I have an 8:30 class. Those are my morning sessions. I do offer one-on-one training in the morning as well. And in my evening, I have a 4:30 and 5:30 personal training as well in the evening. So if you guys want to check that out, you're more than welcome to look us up at Optimal Training HF on Instagram, Optimal Training Health and Fitness on Facebook. And I do have a website, Optimal Training Health and Fitness. Take a look at that, you guys. It kind of gives you some insight on what we do and how we do it and the session times. You can email me, and I will be posting blog posts in the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months, actually. I just finally built my website. That's brand new.
Awesome.
And I can't ask for a favor. I've always been taught, like, you don't ask for a favor, you figure it out. And they taught me that. Like, as much as I think I'm teaching them, they teach me. Like, it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm like, yes, it does. It's my business. And then they're like, no, it's okay. You're a human. It's okay if it's not perfect. And then I've developed that mindset. I've developed, like, empathy towards myself. I give empathy and credit to everyone else, and I'm not giving it to myself. And I finally, after 6 years now, am learning to give myself and be empathetic towards myself. But like I said, check out the website, check out the Instagram page, check out the Facebook. I think you guys would really take a lot from what I post on there, whether it's health, whether it's mental health, spiritual health. You guys can learn a lot on either platform.
Absolutely. And even mindset, like I've seen some of your posts too on Instagram, just it gives somebody that nudge. And even for, I think we all need it, regardless of who we are, what we've accomplished, things, accolades, etc. Like, we all need the positive encouragement,
Right.
that positive circle, because at the end of the day, we're the average of the 5 people we surround ourselves with.
Yes.
And creating our environment is absolutely key. One thing I wanted to ask, I know you mentioned the training classes, but you brought up a really, really good point that I wanted to bring up. So 2020, I mean, that was a year of transformation, adaptation to what was going
major.
on, and being able to have empathy towards yourself, and how would you say it? Just grace to like try something new, because that was a year for every small business. I mean, it was up in the air for everybody, really.
I didn't have any empathy towards myself, actually. I didn't take one day off. And because I was their leader. I was talking about leadership. I'm like, I can't be tired. I can't be scared. I can't feel these things. And I was telling one of my clients this because she started asking about me.
Like your personal life?
About my personal life. She was like, how are you? Like, you keep checking up on me, but how are you? Like, you're not even, like, you're making it seem like nothing, like everything is normal, and it's not. And then she was just like, okay, like, talk to me. And then as a child, I had a lot of anxiety, and actually went to therapy because my parents were like, what the heck's going on? And then so she's like, she has severe anxiety. Do you want to give her medication? I'm like, no meds. And then I've just learned to deal with it, and then I learned to cope with it, and then I've learned to just make it go away. And I mean, I'm not saying like all of the anxiety is going away and that health and fitness is the answer, but with all of that being said, I just told myself, like, you need to keep moving forward. You need to keep moving forward. And one of my clients reached out to me, and she's like, it's okay. Like, we're all going through the same thing. Like, literally, we are all forced to stay home. Okay. You're right. You're right. It doesn't have to be perfect. I took a few breaths, and I got lucky enough with this. I don't know if it's lucky or blessed, and I work hard. So when the pandemic happened and everybody was forced to shut down, I closed for 45 days. I counted the days. I know it's terrible. All of half of March and all of April, and I opened in May. I said, this is the day we're going to open. And it was on my birthday. And so this is what we're going to do. Like, I don't care if it's on my birthday. Like, that's what we're going to do, because that's what's going to make me feel better. Like, I need to do it. And those whole 45 days, I kept thinking of ways to get them to interact. I'd send them things. I would get them on Zoom. I would do everything in my power to just keep it as normal as possible, but also like get together and be able to say, hey, like, let's like wind down from this health and fitness. Like, it's okay. Like, let's mental health. Let's talk about mental health. And that's what we did. And that's what we had to do to adapt to the situations that we were currently in. Like, let's talk. And we did, and everyone kind of got together on Zoom and we talked about it. There were even days where it's like, okay, can we do a happy hour session? And I was like, yes, let's do it. I didn't drink, but they did. I think I had like a couple sips, to be honest with you. I couldn't even finish the drink. I was like, I don't really drink. And so we did things like that. And then I finally said, you know what? I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to hide everything, and we're going to do it low key. And I just did it session by session. Okay, if you're married or a relative, you guys are going to be in one session. If you're this, and this, your best friend, you're going to be in this session. So I assigned everyone sessions, literally every 45 minutes of the day.
Is that how, like, did it make them comfortable?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, because they were all scared, too. I wasn't the only one. I was like, wear your mask. And then I'd get a few who were like, I don't want to wear a mask. I'm like, I won't either. And so, and then I started becoming more comfortable with it, because it was this esoteric thing for everyone. Like, no one knew what COVID was. No one knew what was going on. And some people were like strongly like, no, it doesn't exist. And strongly, yes, it does. Like, this is what's going to kill us all. Kind of idea. Like, this is what's going to end the world, to the point, and it's just
what it felt like, right?
Yeah, it did. It did. Like, let's just be honest. You're like, a lot of people want to make it seem like it was nothing, because now it almost isn't. Yeah. But it was a huge traumatic experience for a lot of people. But with that being said, it was like every 45 minutes of the day, my lunch break was from 11 to 1 and was back here at the gym. And then I literally did that till September. Then I finally opened my doors and said, okay, regular sessions, I can't do this anymore. And then regular sessions came in. I actually had added more sessions. And then I just went from there. The ball just kept rolling and the business started opening up. I stayed open. I'm pretty sure other locations here in Porterville were staying open and still accepting their clients. So there's nothing going to stop me. I'm like, no, because I can't be put on pause. I can't stay in the same spot. Like, let's move forward together. And I actually have a T-shirt that says "Move Forward." I remember because it was our first event, first Veterans Day walk run here, and I had everyone get a T-shirt that said "Move Forward" because due to our veterans, we wouldn't be able to move forward. You know, due to the circumstances that we're in the United States, we wouldn't be able to move forward. And so now that we have all these opportunities, let's take advantage of them and move forward together. And so I've always just used that, and especially my hashtag. You'll see it on there every now and then, but I throw it out there, and that was just the whole point. So yeah.
I mean, I loved everything that you talked about. I like that you kind of transitioned from classes to Zoom, meetings. Do you feel like that brought your congregation together?
No, definitely not. No, no. If it brought them together, it was for happy hour. But no, they were like this was not okay. Like the situation was just not okay. So I had to take it in my own hands and just say, okay, you guys are going to get your own session time. The Zoom thing did not bring us closer together. If anything, like the digital world took us apart. Like it started drifting people away. People didn't know exactly what the situation was. They were getting anxiety. People were getting depressed. People wanted
they were away from
they were away from interaction. And when we don't have interaction, we don't have feelings,
100% true.
When you live in this universal world, there's no touch. There's no, like, I love you. There's no connection from eye to eye contact, and so that's what the biggest trouble was for everyone. I said, no, we're going to have contact with the dumbbells in a few days, so get ready, and so I just made it happen.
Well, they talk about, there's studies that show it. You guys have to look it up. Don't quote me on this, but I read this, I want to say like 7 years ago, and it talked about how the people that lived the longest, they had more meaningful connections in their life than the people. They did a study like on age group. Mm-hmm. These people had family around. These people lived by themselves and didn't communicate. Those people tend to like pass away.
Yeah.
And I think that there's energy, in everything. When you talked about energy earlier, I think it goes a long way. Whatever environment you're in, whatever you're feeding yourself, from music to food to
yes,
like
everything
goes full circle.
Yes,
people don't really realize those things.
That like the connection with food, like meaning, like. And I don't mean like you're emotionally displayed into food, but all I'm saying is like when you have meaning into what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, there's, like you said, you feel better, you live longer. And I've read studies as well. I would have to look them up. I don't want to put them out there like I know everything. Yeah, like it's a fact or anything, but just on a day-to-day basis, when there's more meaning and there's more love in the air, you feel better. And it's funny because my uncle during 2020, one day on a Zoom call, we're all talking about like our feelings, and he's like, love is the answer, guys. Like, we have each other still. It's okay. Like, put meaning into your life. And he has a lot of experience. He's a lot older than I am, and he's super into sports as well and exercising. So he always tells me, like, Mihan, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because we see it. Like, we see all the hard work and the love that you put into what you love to do. And that you continue to do that, you're going to continue to strive, and you're going to continue to make a difference. And I just always take that with me, especially because he mentioned it to me last year, and we had a nice deep conversation, and I just take that with me every day. Actually, since that conversation, I can't stop not having a meaningful day. I'm like, and I'm not like, what is the point of this coffee? How can it define my day? It's not like some kind of joke or anything. I mean it.
You're
intentional, exactly. Yes. So that's the whole point. That's
the conversation I had with somebody earlier. It's just about like your intent, like what you're putting into, your energy. Where's your time going? Mm-hmm. Well, Ash, it was a pleasure to have you on the podcast. It was, it's divine timing. I believe everything happens in the times that it needs to.
Yes.
We had been trying to connect, but God just had us working apart. But hey, today
totally.
It was a great event. I had a blast just
Thank you.
showing up, grabbing coffee.
Thank you.
I appreciate your hospitality and you just being like, hey, come through, and like It's been great, honestly.
I
We haven't
appreciate
connected
it.
in a very long time.
I know it has. It's been a few years, and it's funny because I was telling one of my clients, I'm like, I haven't seen this guy and sat with him in a really long time, but every time we happen to bump into each other, we're at a bar. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but like
Yes.
every now and then, it's like, hey, I didn't know you were here. You're like, hey, Ashlei, and I'm like, hey, like we'll have to talk soon, and we never do. And I hate that. I'm like, dang, like this guy and I can go on and on and on. Yeah, and I do too, because I'm accountable for that as well. But I don't always have the time, and when I'm in Fresno, I'm like, should I hit up Steph? And I'm like, I don't have time. Like, and it is what it is.
It's
But
life, and I don't hold any animosity towards anybody.
no,
Life's too
totally,
precious.
totally. But I'm just glad that you and I have been able to go through life, being able to reconnect as we do, and that's kind of the whole point. Like, you're the same way. It's not just me, but you as well. Like, you have a great way of being able to connect with people and get connected with people or become connected with people. And I love that. Like, that's one of my favorite qualities about you. And that's probably why you and I connect so well. We can go on and on and on, but you've made this experience a lot easier for me. You've made it more exciting as well. I've got to express it to my clients. I'm like, hey guys, I'm gonna be on a podcast. Be ready to listen to it. And they're like, yeah, and it was just cool for them to experience that. And I want my clients to know that whatever I'm saying in the podcast, that I mean it. I'm putting it out there because it's all meaningful. They matter to me. This matters to me. And I want them to be a part of it, and whatever I'm doing is going to be for them. Like, I'm doing it each and every day, whether it's for them or someone like them. And let's just keep doing it. Let's keep moving forward. Let's drive and let's go hard. And you'll hear when they were running, I was like, go hard, go hard. Like, Ashlei, it's not a real competition. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I can't help it, but
It's the competitive edge of
yeah, right. And it's exciting. It's a thrill. It's nice to see them in something, whether it's a competition or not a competition, but similar to a competition. I mean, it's however you want to perceive it, because it was a participation, And so I'm like, go hard, like you can do this. And one of them was like, we're not taking this seriously, And I'm like, cross. You're not done till you cross the finish line, And
attitude.
yeah, it really is. But anyhow, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the time for you to coming out here and getting to know my clients and getting to know the vendors as well.
One last thing. Words of wisdom for the audience. A message, something that you can drop.
Okay.
I mean, you've given a lot of knowledge and insight, and
Okay.
I feel like motivation, inspiration just with your story. But what's one thing that you want to leave the audience with?
Don't stop.
Don't stop.
Do not stop. Even when you feel like you're comfortable, do not stop. Discomfort is comfort. Make it your new comfort zone. And then when it's your comfort zone, make it uncomfortable again. Like, just do it. And that's from Nike. Don't quote me on that one. But honestly, at the end of the day, it's you. It's up to you and what you want. And if you want something, go for it. Don't stop. Keep moving until you get what you want. And if you want more, go for it. Like, there's endless opportunities, countless possibilities. And that's the biggest thing, with my clients as well, is telling them, you can do it. Like, get out of your head, you can do it. And they do it. So I would have to leave it at that. Don't stop, and you can do it.
Don't stop, everybody. I appreciate everybody for tuning into this episode of the Luxic Vue Podcast.
Yes.
With special guest,
Ashlei
Esparza.
Thank you.
Optimal training. I apologize for getting
It's okay.
earlier. I think it's just, I seen health and fitness in there, so optimal is the beginning.
It does make more sense to. Yeah, I see it.
So, but anyway, with all of that being said, embrace now, doubt kills, and live your legacy.
Yes.